Hello and welcome. I am Marie Hayden of www.mariehayden.com, and I have been on an amazing journey for the last while. Started at the beginning of August, rough and dirty, and basically I did an elimination protocol, which brought me down to just a single protein. Now, the interesting thing about this single protein is that I was intolerant to this single protein for probably about 20 plus years, and that single protein is eggs. So I know it's a bit of an odd thing to go ahead and just embrace a challenge like that, but I decided that, I've been healing my gut for so many years, especially in these last few years, learning all the information from the wonderful Dr. Mindy Pelz. Thank you so much for introducing intermittent fasting, as well as Dr. Eric Berg. I've taken both their trainings. Just owe so much to them because I've been on this healing journey for so long, and it's just always something new. I didn't think that I would learn this much, but in the course of these last few months, I've again learned more. So here I am. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll just dive right in. So what I did was this egg challenge, which is basically you eat eggs, and you try and do that for 10 days. Let me tell you that after 7 days, I was like, this is nuts. For those who do know me, I'm an absolute foodie. Now, I do abstain from certain high allergens that have been in my life for a long time, which was dairy, gluten, soy, eggs. I also have been intolerant to beef, to shellfish, citrus. Let me see. Sometimes I'm allergic to strawberries, sometimes I'm not. And then as far as vegetables go, we're pretty much looking at beets. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, I'm going to cough sometimes because I'm still recovering on this detox. Super unprofessional, but I do not know how to edit, so not happening. Anyhow, so what's happened now is I've been on this egg journey, couldn't stand it, so I introduced another protein. And I also started to introduce some fats. So I added in avocado, which I've had for a long time. I went and bought some goat ghee because where I live, I have access to goat and sheep products, which are out of this world delicious. But as I'm slowly learning, might not be so good for me in the long term. We'll get to that later. What else happened? So then I started to get a little creative, and I started to incorporate the eggs with the salmon. I also eat a lot of cod here, enjoyed that. And then it happened. My dear sweet husband, Sean, he has been a carnivore, although I've probably led him off the carnivore path multiple times over the last 5 years, which I apologize for. But yeah, he's amazing. And what he loves is a steak. And bless him, he'll eat ground meat just to like save a buck. And we don't agree there, but I won't go into that whole debacle. But he brought home a steak, and he's like, do you want to try a piece of steak? You've had eggs. Do you want to try a piece of steak? And I kid you not, I was like, yeah, sure. I'll just have a bit, right? Because I've been doing so well on these eggs. I will caveat, I have been taking a digestive enzyme that has some ox bile in it, which helps my common bile duct and my gallbladder. If you want to know more about that, you can send me a message, and I'd be more than happy to kind of dive into that. Okay, circle back. There's a lot to unpack here. So I taste the steak. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. I actually enjoyed the fat. Sorry, the fat more than the steak. This almost became a bit of a slippery slope, I will say. But I do believe that everything that I've been sent up till now has been a gift for me to share with everybody else. So here's where things went a little sideways. So we're like, say, 2 months in. And 2 months in, I have probably experienced everything from bloating to diarrhea to constipation. Sorry, too much information, but this is who I am. And it kind of started around this beef thing, but I didn't want it to happen because I was craving this beef like uncontrollably. So I went from like a couple little pieces to like buy me a steak to let's have a couple of steaks. Let's have 3 steaks in a day. I am just on fire. Let's have eggs and steak. Let's do that. So basically, you've taken me from all the foods that I can have and put me into the beef that I can't have and the eggs that I can't have. I know I know from all the years of my training and knowing my constitution of my body, whenever I have foods that I can't tolerate, my immune system is compromised. That was my whole childhood. This is my whole being of who I am today, is because I was misdiagnosed for so many years. And here I am, I'm doing it to myself. I am doing it to myself. Sorry. So now what ends up happening is this cough. And at first I'm kind of like, well, I did it to myself and I'm just gonna have this cough for a couple of days. I'm gonna get over it. Because like I have not been ill in like 5 years. And the reason why I was ill 5 years ago is because I moved to a new country, which was a new stress. I sold everything. Our family sold everything that we had to say goodbye to just chaos and nutty decisions and not aligning with everybody that wanted to be sheep. So anyways, don't want to dive into that too much. So I know what I should and shouldn't be doing. And here I walked myself right into it. The biggest thing I realized is those foods that plagued me when I was younger, I was an addict to. And all of a sudden I became a slave to the eggs and the beef. I didn't even want to taste my salmon anymore, which my salmon I love. My husband's like, you don't want your salmon? I'm like, I don't want my salmon. I want the eggs and I want the beef. So a couple of things could come up for that. It could be that I really was nutrient deprived and I just loved it. Sorry. And it could be that I was just addicted to it. But either way, what it did is it made me super toxic and ill. The only symptom I have had in the last, let's go for 2.5 weeks now, 2.5 weeks. The only symptom I've had is a cough. So I've been watching Dr. Sarah Myhill out of the UK, and she is an absolute fab lady. I love her lingo. I love all her little British nuances that just like tickle me and whatever, and fancy and jolly and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, she's a love. And she's been talking this upper fermenting gut. And I will tell you that in this eggs, beef, cough, bloat, blah, 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 I gained on the lovely scale 12 pounds. 12 pounds. Now, I've already been up in my weight, probably about 8 to 10 pounds. Now you add that on, and I'm not a very big person. I have not been that size or heavy in weight since my kids were born. My kids are 20 and 21. Crazy, hey? So what this then started piecing together by watching her beautiful information is that I had this upper fermenting gut. And how did I know this? Because every time I went to go lie down to go to sleep, I would cough so hard that I would start retching. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what is the deal? It took me quite a while. It took me probably 10 days, 2 weeks in, sorry, I'm gonna cough again, to understand this. At one point I was like, do I have bronchitis? Do I have whooping cough? But I have nothing. I have no phlegm. I have just a dry cough, super chesty. But when I cough so hard, I feel it right from my stomach. I feel the pressure on my chest. I feel like I'm almost like in heart mode, that I have to be careful about my breathing. But my pulse is totally fine, which is crazy. So what did that mean? Well, the beautiful Sarah, bless her, she has created so many different protocols based on what she has learned with her clients and her experiences, and everything is free. She's got this massive website with tons and tons of info, plus all of these YouTube videos that all these like people are picking her up, you know, like Jesse, I can't remember, is it Jesse? I can't remember how to say his name. Anyways, I won't even go in because I'll just go down a rabbit hole. But all these different influencers are talking to her and having her speak about all these different protocols. So what did I start doing? I started doing her protocol. And one of those things is Lugol's iodine. Now I went with conservative 2%. And I also started doing more vitamin C and D, which I was already doing. Normally I respond vitamin D and C, no problem. But I think now looking back that the whole reason why I wasn't recovering is because of this upper fermenting gut. So what ended up taking place is I take this Lugol's, I've got my vitamin C, my vitamin D, plus I've got all these other supplements that I'm taking because I take minerals and I take stuff to go to sleep, and I take magnesium and cortisol and stuff for my thyroid and blah. So that was all happening. And one day I noticed I've got these like right up underneath my chest, which I thought was maybe like my bra line or something was giving me an irritation. And I ended up with these like little bumps. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So I just kind of ignore it, whatever. That's kind of me. I'm just like, if it's not really like killing me, I'm just going to keep pressing on. And what I've learned now is that because I started introducing iodine, that I was detoxing halides, chloride, fluoride, and bromide. Bromide is a halide that I'm detoxing, which is giving me all these bumps. So it started here. It went down across my chest. I found bits on my legs. I found bits on my backside. And the craziest thing is that when they say you're doing this massive detox, you actually pull back from the iodine. So here I am coughing along, not able to sleep. I hadn't slept in about 2 weeks. And I'm just like, wow, I'm ready to give up. You might have heard me in some of my videos, like, I'm done, I'm giving up, I can't handle this, blah, 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 blah. I didn't give up. I pressed on. And what ended up happening there is that I went off the Lugol's for a while. And what that allowed is me to just focus on one thing, or two things, pardon me. And I ended up taking all my supplements and just going, to heck with all of you. I'm not doing this, because what I found out is that all of these lovely supplements feed these little microbiomes that are causing this upper fermenting gut, and they're getting fed, and I'm staying sick, and this is not cool, and I don't do sick. Sorry. Where am I now? Well, it is Monday here, and Friday, I decided that not only was I going to go off of all my supplements, I was going to only take vitamin D and vitamin C in large doses every 2 hours, which is something I've been promoting for, 15, 20 years for people's immune system, especially after things like this good old Halloween day that's coming up, and Easter and Christmas, when everybody eats all this sugar and then sits there and goes, I don't know why I'm so sick. Again, rabbit hole, I'll leave that for another day. So the halide thing just kept coming more and more. I started fasting. I fasted for 24 hours, just a water fast. The next night had the most incredible sleep, meaning I slept from say 9 to 11, which doesn't seem like very much. And then I slept again from 12 till 4, which was great because I've been sleeping upright. I have not been able to lie down in a couple of weeks. Okay, so I have all these pillows around me, and that's how I sleep. But I actually slept. All the other nights, I was not sleeping. I was cough, cough, cough. You're hearing me now. That's a good cough. Okay, I was coughing to the point as I'm running to the loo. Okay, fast forward. I decide, let's go get a nice chicken. We'll put it in the crock pot. We're currently renovating our kitchen. It's a bit of mayhem. So we have a crock pot that we can use. And I put the chicken in there, and I roasted him up really good because my husband wanted to have some pulled chicken. It's not his favorite, but I was saying, why not? So we're going to have some pulled chicken, and I'm going to use the bones and make some broth. So I did that. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I decided, you know what? I'm not sleeping. I'm not hacking, but I did have 2 chunks of sleep. I'm going to go churn up and make some shredded chicken. Once I pulled the chicken, I put it into the fridge, and then I made my bone broth. And from that moment on, I had only bone broth for the next 24 hours. Fast forward again. So now I'm at 48 hours. My ketones are amazing. I'm up in the 4s. My blood sugar is completely between 70 and 80, which is amazing, showing you that I am using what's on my body to disperse. I have the sugars there. I'm not fatigued. I'm not tired, except for having this cough. I had the most incredible sleep last night. I also introduced a few days ago, I'll back this up, magnesium Epsom salts baths. So last night I had an Epsom salt bath. I watched some great documentaries because I'm just so like enthralled by all of these things that are happening with Healing Humanity, his amazing homestead videos, listening to a fantastic Canadian pioneer. Oh my gosh, my new hero. She's 82 years old. She is buff as can be. She runs a freaking ranch. I'm going to go down another rabbit hole if I keep talking about her, but she excites me. She just tells me how much this whole business of aging is such I need to stop because I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. Let's pause. Let's get back on track. Okay, let's leave that aside. Let's go back to what was happening. So I introduced the magnesium baths, and I have to say last night, I had the most incredible sleep. I slept from 11 until 6. Just before 6, I woke myself up to a major coughing fit. Although, even though it was a coughing fit, I didn't feel I had to run to the loo for the first time in 2.5 weeks. That's a celebration. So I thought, you know what? I'll go back to bed. So I go back to bed, toss, turn, cough, 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 cough. I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not supposed to be asleep. Why don't you just count your blessings and get your butt out of bed? So I lied there for a little bit more, and my beautiful girl Bella here decided that, no, mommy, you need to get up. So she started pacing, and I was like, oh, is she gonna get me up? That means she's gonna want to eat. She's gonna want to so I decide, forget it, I'm just gonna tiptoe on out, grab Bella, we go downstairs, we get her sorted, and I come back and go right into my bone broth, check my numbers. I am 4.3 in my ketones, and I am at 71 in my blood glucose, and like, I'm thriving, and I haven't ate anything. Now, I will say, I just said I didn't eat anything, but there was about this much, maybe like a quarter to a half a cup of chicken in my bone broth that last night, I did have a bit of that. That's the only thing I would have consumed because it was mixed in with the broth. But other than that, nothing. So now that I found out my protocol, I am starting to thrive. So I am super excited to keep sharing all of this with you. I again apologize because I'm a Canadian and we always apologize for coughing in my video, but I do not have editing skills. I do not have a big budget to have a team that can edit my videos for me. So you're getting me raw, and you're getting me with Bella and whoever else might cut in on my video or phone call or whatever else. That's just me. I want to help you get better. I want to tell you about all these things I'm learning from the Dr. Mindy's, the Fungs, the Sarah Myhill, the Elizabeth Bright. Like, oh my gosh, the list is absolutely massive of all of these powerhouses that are taking back their health, and I want to help you take back your health. So if you're listening and you want to get in touch with me, I'm looking for a whole bunch of people. I am not charging you. I'm looking for a whole bunch of people in the month of October 2025 that I can help transform. And I'm going to give you some radical things to do. And if you're on board, I want you to join me in transforming and healing yourself from the inside out. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for entertaining this nasty cough. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Peace, love. And www.mariehayden.com is where you can send me a message. You can comment here on YouTube and hit the like button because I have not been on YouTube for a long time. And so my my visual watchers or whatever is super low. So I do need to gain some momentum. So thank you so much. Ciao for now. Bye.